Well, it's happened. The TWAB has came back, and I have finally figured out, hopefully, a decent Legend of Acrius build. So, I'll get into the build first. We'll do probably the second Witch Queen campaign on heroic difficulty, so that level doesn't really matter. Testing out the build and that sort of stuff. Um, Making a build with Legend of Acrius while using Arc is nearly impossible right now. I attempted to with Doom Marchers because you have to get in close range, but the problem is, first off, it is so hard to survive with Titan Arc especially. There was no way for you to gain health at all. You don't have an overshield, you don't have restoration that heals you. At least Warlocks can do their melee from a distance. Their supers happen at a distance. They have a healing rift. And Hunters, they can deflect if they want to. They have a longer distance melee. Titans, nothing. Nothing longer distance. The best is like Pulse Grenade. You can have Shoulder Charge, but if you're running Thunder Crash, that's not viable. And that melee downstrike is not super viable because Scions can just snipe you midway through that because you're stationary for a little bit before you actually crash down. And also the side perks are not that great for Titan, I'm gonna be honest. The most useful one is the Top Tree Arc Titan, where you get 2 grenades instead of 1. Well, and also Aftershocks is nice. But magnitude. But for Thunder Crash, nothing's useful. Like the melee, terrible. Like this one, not great. Inertia Override, not great. Like, like sure, this is fine, but it shouldn't be. This should already be a part of the melee rather than anything else. It's dumb. It's so dumb. That being said, as you can see, I did not want to do a Loreley Splendor thing. Because for one, I feel like it's a little bit cheap to use Loreley for any build for a weapon that's hard to use. Also, there are disadvantages like barricades. You'll be missing your barricade. And this is kind of important for shotguns because of rallying barricade. It gives you that extra reload speed. And also gives you a little bit of extra range. Range is important for a shotgun. That being said, I went through a lost sector like 5 or 6 times. I got second chance and I saw Mantle before. I got no backup plans because they didn't have those. Because the actual color of the glow changes with your subclass, before I had thought, well, it works with any subclass, right? No. You basically can only use it for Void. You'll get the extra airborne with any and the extra melee energy, but the overshield, which is most important, you only get that with Void. Which makes sense, but I wish it was done a little bit better. Getting into the actual build, I do not have backup plans upgraded all the way because the roll is a 65 and I don't like having that much mobility. I would rather have a bit more that being put into more resilience, recovery, or even strength. I'd rather have a high strength build because you need your melee so often. Okay, so let's get into the weapons first. I have a crafted submission. These 2 slots are interchangeable. You need to have a shotgun in one of them to make you maximum use of shotgun ammo finder and shotgun scavenger. I was going to have reckless endangerment or heritage with the ranged masterwork up here, but you do need to have a void weapon here. And I don't have the role of Unforgiven that I want, or a role for any void weapon that I want. I want Wellspring. And currently the only craftable void kinetic weapons are a bow and a scout rifle. That's it. The other one is a trace rifle. But I do not want to use more than one type so that it'll spawn. The special and heavy will apply to both. But Wellspring basically kills give you grenade and melee energy. And it's kind of evenly divided between your, obviously as it says, uncharged abilities. Lead from Gold is really, really nice. It's especially nice with trace rifles because I have a Hollow Denial crafted with enhanced Wellspring, enhanced Lead from Gold. I can run double special. It's insane. I'm hoping they add a void craftable shotgun with at least Lead from Gold. Or I really like Wellspring for this especially. I have this just because it has Soul Drinker on it. You could replace it with Deliverance, for example, or something else. And then the good old Legend of Acrius. These two work, they're going to work really, really well together. I have major spec on this, but you can have minor spec, but that's kind of useless. You also could have boss spec if you wanted to hot swap between the two. But first off, the reload speed is absurdly high. Meanwhile, Without Remorse is at 59. This one's at like 83. Its range lacks a little bit. That being said, it has a reload masterwork. You have to get in close anyways. And for the Void subclass and running Bubble, survivability. Rallying Barricade, because I like that reload. I always use High Lift. I'm using Shield Bash because when I haven't, thing ready and haven't killed anything with a shotgun, I want to be able to get in there fast, and Shield Bash is going to be the best way to do that. And then Magnetic Grenade for Volatile Overflow, because I have Controlled Demolition and Bastion. Bastion is a must. You can replace Controlled Demolition with like Offensive Bulwark. Which honestly, this is probably Offensive Bulwark would probably be better. Oh, I will go ahead and do that. And for the actual aspects, for the actual fragments, I have Echo of Leeching, really good. Even though this won't really help us, it gives that extra boost in resilience. Echo of Instability is very good for volatile rounds. Very good. And also we do want that plus 10 strength for that melee charge, for that melee speed. And then Echo of Expulsion, very good because of the grenades and that extra boost in intellect. It is what it is. For the actual armor and stuff, obviously we're using no backup plans. You do need to have at least 3 of your armor pieces being void and at least 1 arc. For the void, definitely need this is what I have on my helmet. Kinetic Siphon, Harmonic Siphon, also another reason why you need to run a void weapon. Shotgun Ammo Finder. This slot is dependent on the stats of armor that you have. You want your resilience and recovery to at least be around 90. Your strength really should be your second highest, but because I have most of my stats have high intellect, it's not working out. It's also why I did not use Protective Light, because Protective Light minuses your strength by 10 or 20, I believe. But definitely Reaping Wellmaker. This is very useful because if you throw that grenade, your next weapon blow will be a Void Elemental Well, so you'll be able to spawn those more. Spawning those will do 2 things. One, it'll give you Well of Utility, so it's the same thing as Wellspring, to where it'll give you more energy. On the arms, I have Bolstering Detonation. This one is good because it'll basically recharge your melee and your barricade when you throw a grenade. You'll be throwing grenades a lot, especially because of the Offensive Bulwark. Your reload doesn't really matter. It kind of depends on what weapons you're using other than Legend of Acrius. Something you could probably also do up here if you really wanted to take that other slot is Focusing Strike. You could do that as well, but since we're not using melee a whole lot, it's not going to be that useful. For the chest, Well of Tenacity. Well of Tenacity is better than Protective Light. In case you don't know, Protective Light is a Void Charge at Light mod. This got nerfed and does give you minus 10 strength. Well of Tenacity is better. That's also a second reason why I am running Void. definitely want to have shotgun reserves. And right now I have Armor of the Dying Star. Once the season's over, though, I would recommend Sniper Damage Resistance. Because snipers are going to be your worst enemy as a shotgunner. On the legs, shotgun ammo finder, like shotgun ammo scavenger, is a must. Also, your legs have to be either void or solar because of recuperation. This is why I'm regenerating orbs. For void, it's called something else, but it does the same thing. Arc does not have this. Or I don't know, Stasis doesn't have it either. But picking up a orb of power gives you actually a decent amount of chunk of health, which is going to be very key. I have elemental armaments here. I'd personally rather have elemental ordnance, but it is what it is. If I had more armor pieces stacked around resilience, I'd be more comfortable. But radiant light, you need. You can replace this with Argent Ordnance, but that radiant light gives you plus 20 strength. You need as much strength as feasibly possible with this. And then I have Outreach. One, to proc Radiant Light and proc that plus 20%. Another reason is because of the Outreach, which, and this is why I have it on my mark specifically, reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability, aka Barricades. And you'll be using Barricades a lot. It's very good. You could also probably get away if you fiddled with things, you could probably replace this with Distribution, but I don't know. I like Outreach. It's fine. And this is where I'm going to launch a legendary campaign. We'll do the second mission, though. Whew, this one's going to be a little bit... it'll be fine. Investigation will be fine. Go ahead and launch this bad boy, and then we'll talk about the TWAB. And also, getting into the TWAB a little bit while we're loading in. I am not sure if I like the raid date. It doesn't really affect me personally enough. Because in case you don't know, it's on a... Okay, I kind of actually... Beautiful.
What's strange to me is that she's vulnerable here. Why would she just let us walk in? We need a clue of how she stole the light.
Okay. I will have to concentrate at certain points in time. Also, kind of get comfortable with sliding. There's that. I think it was a bad idea to be able to have a... Oh, crap. Uh-huh. We're gonna do this. Get that void. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. But it's on August 26th. The raid launch is on August 26th. It's a Friday. 3 days after reset. Also, I'm gonna mute this dialogue so I can actually concentrate on what I'm talking about. Since it's kind of very different than what's actually happening. But for me personally, as you can see, that overshield was very needed. Okay. Okay. Anyways, Because of where I work, it's not too much of a problem that it's on a Friday. Because Friday's not our busiest day. It's like Thursday, oddly enough. Like, weekends are not that busy for some reason. That being said, hold on a second. It doesn't make sense from Bungie's perspective to have a day one race, like world's first race. I will be participating. Is there multiple ways to this? Ah, interesting. But like from a viewer standpoint, like Destiny 2, the world's first race is like one of the most streamed things, and it's the most streamed thing in Destiny 2, not let alone it's also pretty popular in Twitch and even like the YouTube space. YouTube space, not so much, but especially Twitch. And that's kind of an important thing for me, but I don't know. I'm more so concerned with actually completing the raid. Hold on a second. I'm supposed to be able to get back here, aren't I? Yes, I am. Okay. Okay, I did that to get myself volatile rounds just in case. But I personally think the raid will be King's fault. I'm a little bit less skeptical of that now, because another decision they've kind of done in relation to the TWAB is not releasing what raid we're getting. I don't understand why. We knew Vault of Glass was coming at least months and months and months before. I want to say we knew about Vault of Glass like months ahead of time. Don't quote me on that though. And we kind of knew what was up with Val a decent amount before. We at least knew the rate launch a decent amount before. It gave up everybody enough time to request it off and everything. Something that Bungie doesn't seem to be in support of, because I already heard about people not being able to participate now because it's on a Friday. You know, people have school and everything. Which, I feel for them. I didn't play Destiny 2 when I was in school. I mean, I'm 21 now, to be fair, but I didn't start playing until Season of Arrivals. And at that point, I was either on my I was on my way out of high school already, so I was like, eh. I didn't start raiding until a year ago with Deepstone Crypt. Ah, interesting. Okay, that was a bad decision on my part. I haven't used Legend of Acrius in a hot minute. Hello, sir. There we are. Okay. Finish. Ah, fuck, I seen over there. Okay. We'll go this way. But this isn't something that I'm too pressed about. Because obviously, you know, I can request it off or whatever. I'm more so concerned with, one, what rate it is, because we don't know, and that's a bit of a problem. Especially for, like, people that are trying to get teams together. I'm trying to lure this ogre over here a little bit closer, but he doesn't seem to be biting. Okay. Did that thing just... Okay, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to ride past all of this. But... Man, it's it's a little rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little rough. As far as skill-based matchmaking goes, I don't really care much. Okay. One second. These are the sections where I kind of got to focus a little bit. Okay. Now I can actually kind of relax a little bit. We're not going to talk about that. But I personally think it's going to be King's Fall. What I'm about to say, in case you want to mute or whatever, it's kind of spoilery. So the raid that we're getting back is probably King's Fall. The next season is probably going to be Fallen as well. That being said, I know it does kind of bring up that Wrath of the Machine could be a decent option. However, first off, we already have the raid exotic. That doesn't make much sense to me. And I'm pretty sure it's been leaked that we are getting King's Fall for sure. Faux show. Oh. Ow. And obviously King's Fall would be much easier because it's a different raid exotic, Touch of Malice. So it just simply makes more sense for it to be King's Fall. If they change it back to Saturday right now, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be too pressed. I might have an issue with this encounter, but it's fine. Bubble? Get back in the bubble. Oh crap, I'm gonna get bodied here in a second. Okay, I got myself volatile round. Oh, holy! Ow. I gotta run. Finally, wait for me to have some more ability regen. Beautiful. That's my thoughts on the new stuff. Raid date, fine. I'm pretty sure it's because Bungie wants to... at least if I remember correctly, it's because Bungie wants to not tire out their workforce, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I'm cool. I don't see much of a problem with it. I wish, though, they would have given us more than a month heads up. It's literally less than a month. Over shield. Beautiful. Okay. I need that void well. Tenacity. Yikers! Yikers! Where's the third one? I got fuck yeah, that was a bad decision. Alrighty, but you can see how that kind of works. I'm hoping with Arc 3.0 I'll be able to run Thunder Crash and do a huge DPS build with it. But it is what it is. This build actually kind of works better than I thought. If I had a better role for a non-special in this slot, I think it'd be a bit better in having a special, so that when you switch, you don't have to like double tap your switch button to get it to proc up the proper weapon. But that is the build for Legend of Acrius prior to Arc 3.0. And final thoughts on the TWAB. Make everything concise. I don't mind the Friday release date. I wish it was Saturday, because Saturday was kind of a tradition. So as my experience, I got up to Atheon for Vault of Glass Day 1, and Vow for the first day, I got up to Caretaker. Almost took him out, but then couldn't quite get the damage in. Did not do anything on day 2. I don't like 48 hours. To me, it feels a little bit cheap and not as top level as if you're doing it day 1. I like it. You only have one day to do it. That's the excitement. You only have so long. I will be trying to hunt down a world's first team, because I'd like to at least start trying to get a world's first, and really being on that level, because I find it fun doing that kind of stuff. But man, I hope they let us know that they're changing it before Monday. So when I go back in Monday, I gotta request that time off. So hoping we find out if they're actually gonna change it here soon. As far as skill-based matchmaking, I don't care. I don't do Crucible. I'm mostly a PvE. I barely do Crucible. I might start doing Crucible more often, but I don't know. I hate 6v6 stuff. I prefer 3v3 because I feel more in my element with 3v3s. But on that note, I will be releasing an actual strictly build vid. We're going to try to once every week. Except once the new season comes, I will not be doing any builds. Especially if I find something that's busted with Arc 3.0, I'd like to have that advantage. My specialty is damage. Like that is my specialty. Most of the times when I'm on my Titan, I normally have the most DPS. Survivability, though, I struggle with. I'd like to have a little bit more survivability, but I'm mostly a damage guy. I've really perfected the art of damage for myself. That being said, if you want a quick tip for Keitel, Wither Horde Storm Chaser combo. That works. And really, you want Thunder Crash, but Thunder Crash, Wither Horde, Storm Chaser, with either autoloading or firing line / Vorpal weapon. God Roll would be autoloading a Vorpal because sometimes your fire team isn't necessarily close enough when you start firing, so Vorpal weapon would be better. Anyways, on that note, I will see y'all again next week. If y'all have an exotic suggestion that you want me to make a build for, leave them in the comments. That being said, I probably won't be doing any kinetic weapons because no kinetic weapons since unless it's obviously like stasis or if I'd rather do builds that actually have an element to them because for sweet business all you can really do is just actually war rig. That's it. There's not much you can do to enhance the element stuff. So if you have any energy or power weapons that you want me to do or have a very niche exotic you want me to try to make a build with, leave it in the comments below. If there are any questions or anything, leave that down there as well. But on that note, I'm going to end it here. Adios, and I'll catch y'all next